Hello everyone, my name is Scott, I live in Spain and I'm going to give you basically an insight and the procedures involved into starting a GPS tracking business. This hasn't been done before, trust me. If you start your own GPS tracking company into Google, you will get people that are mainly developers or people pushing software, but not actually the other side of things. It's either the software or it's nothing, okay? So how do you do it? What is it that's involved, And by the end of this, you will, if you watch it to the end, you will know exactly what you need to just start a GPS tracking business. Guaranteed. Okay, so first of all, I live in Spain. I've been running my own tracking company, Telematics.ie and .co.uk for over a decade. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a software developer. As I said, I've got marketing, sales experience, and have actually run my own company, so I know what I'm talking about. What do you need to start? Let's jump straight into it. Well, first of all, you need a software. Okay, so we use a company, and you can look it up on Google, called FleetAtom.com. That's our software. Okay. That allows you to log in on any computer or phone or desktop and see where that tracker is, okay? So you can see where it's been, where it is now, you can run reports, etc., etc. The second thing is a tracking device, and the third thing is a SIM card. So those three things come together to form a tracking product, okay? There are other tracking solutions out there. They're really cheap ones, but they're rubbish, okay, really bad. These ones, this is live commercial grade thing, a product that you can rent and give away as a subscription to a commercial company. It's been used for a long time, okay? So the different type of tracking products are, ones that go on ships, on boats, or on vehicles, okay? They can go in anywhere. There's different ones. There's one with cameras built in. There's ones that are very small. There's ones that you can use as a phone. There's lots of different ones. But the software is the essence. The software is what they connect to, okay? The SIM card goes inside the tracker. You give the tracker to the client, and away you go, okay? So the cheaper ones are ones you buy on Amazon. Don't often work. You have to text them. There's no monthly subscription. And often people say to me, yeah, but why don't I just get a cheap one? They often come back and then go for this type of product, because if you really want good tracking, that's what you go for. Cost-wise, some people sell this type of product from anywhere from 15 to 25, even 30 euros, okay? The average, I would say, is around 15 to 20 nowadays, all right? So you've got to sort of look at your target market and go in and roughly about what you want to get for your money, and pitch it with other people. It's a passive business, so once it's started, once you've got your clients, you can move and live anywhere in the world, okay? You can run it from anywhere like we do. We run it from Spain, and we're pretty much semi-retired after doing it that long. So we build our business up, and after about year 4 or 5, being perfectly honest, you sit back. And you don't do much. But to get there, you need to sell. You need to be somebody who's able to convince somebody and speak to people on a big scale initially to build up your customer base. 500, 600, 700 trackers, you're talking about a turnover then of around 250,000 a year, okay, with a profitability, once your trackers are paid off, of around 90%. So it's very lucrative. And the market is only getting bigger. I've had people say, there's not much call for it here in New Zealand or Madagascar or England, whatever. There's not. There is. It's a massive growth market, tracking, and will continue for decades to come. So in terms of the costs to you, FleetAtom charges €3 per device. So if you're selling at 15, 20, you do the math, you're making a good markup. So once you've sold it to a client, let's say 100 vehicles. Okay, let's be optimistic. You've got a client who's got 100 vehicles, you've got 100 devices in. Well, suddenly you're turning over 1,500 a month, 2,000 a month. And your overheads on that are approximately, from the software, €300 a month. So there's a nice income in between. There's still the other two costs, the cost for the SIM, which usually shouldn't exceed 70 cent to 80 cent per 5 megabytes. Okay, so let's say €1. So your overheads are €4. You've then got the device cost. So let's call a spade a spade. A device cost can vary from anywhere from €40 up to €70, depending on the device. So obviously you're saying to yourself now, well, how do I get that cost back? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It just takes time. I mean, there is a bit of pain with any business. If you're paying out, let's say €60 for a device, and you're charging a customer €15 for that device, it's gonna take you 6 months, 7 months to get that money back. But after that, you're making pure profit. And most clients are with us for a long time, 5, 10, 15 years. And that's what you've got to consider. It's a long-term business, and you can easily get a passive income from that. In terms of marketing, there are ways of marketing it, but really the only way to market a product like this is to get on the phones. Okay, there's no easy win, and I cover that in other parts of the process. Okay, so if you want to start a business, right now you want to start a tracking business, you contact FleetAtom and you say, look, I want to start. They will charge you up front nothing. Okay, all you've got to do is send them your logo, your domain name, and they will give you an account for nothing. There are other software companies that require minimums. FleetAtom doesn't require that. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is buy your tracking devices. Start out with 3, 4, 5. Okay, now again, FleetAtom will do that for you. If you want 1, they'll send you 1. If you want 20, they'll send you 20. If you deal direct with the manufacturer, they'll probably want minimums, 30, 40, 50 up front. So just bear that in mind. But that's why we started with FleetAtom, because it was so easy to start and there was no upfront cost and there was no minimums. Okay, and then you start to, once you've got your account and your devices, you start to go out there. No business, from my perspective, being in business over 14 years, should cost you a massive amount of money. No, it's not like a restaurant. You shouldn't be paying tens of thousands. Start a tracking company. You can do it pretty much with under €100 with FleetAtom. You buy the device, you get yourself a logo for 10, 20 quid online. You don't even have a website. You don't even have a website to start, but that's pretty much how easy it is. Okay, so I will put a demo of the FleetAtom software in the description, and really that is it. There's no point in me dragging out. It's not as complicated as that. You've still got billing. You have obviously you need some to look at how you're going to get your clients, but it is as straightforward as that. And once you build that business up, you pretty much can sit back, fire and forget, and away you go. Now, there is in the description, look at the description, there's 3 elements for me, okay? What I've told you is free. FleetAtom is free in terms of starting. Okay, obviously you've got to pay the per connected device, but if you start with FleetAtom after 3 months, you've only got 2 connected devices, you're only being charged €6 a month. It's not like minimums, okay? So you've got that process, okay? The second sort of onboarding process from my perspective is I do charge a fee for consultations. Okay, so if you want the bells and whistles in terms of getting up and running to the point where you're not spending money and time learning certain areas and etc., then 499 gets you a process, it's in description, with myself to get you up and running that first couple of months. All right, remember, a business like a franchise will cost you tens of thousands as well as a lot of hassle. This is a startup for nothing, but if you really want it, pay the $499 and get the process where I give you basically a tailored one-on-one to get up and running. $999, which is €1,000, let's call it what it is, will get you everything. That's access for me for the first couple of months, WhatsApp messages, we'll do phone calls each week, and again, that's in the description. But that aside, those 2 things aside, you know, by the end of this, if you want to start from zero and you think you've got the capability of doing the sales and setting up the administrative processes to get you started very quickly, then that's good, all right? But you also, in those onboarding consultations, get template contracts, you know, how to do the sales side, what are the best approaches to get where you need to fast, etc., etc. There's also a lot of tips on stuff that you shouldn't do, that you're going to waste money on doing, that most people make on a mistake. So www.fleetatom.com to get started. You know, if you're somebody that's pretty entrepreneurial, you don't need much help and advice. If you're somebody that needs help, a little bit of help and guided help, choose one of the consultation packages there, and you can see them in the description. But that's it. I wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully see you in Spain at some stage. But thanks for listening, guys.